Dear students, let us study the last concept in transport in plants. Okay, what is that one? The phloem transport, flow from source to sink, right? Okay, and here under this concept we are going to study about the pressure flow hypothesis. Okay, pressure flow hypothesis, right? And or it is also called as mass flow hypothesis. Okay, and remember, in plants the most accepted mechanism used for the translocation of sugars will be uh, mass flow hypothesis. Okay, that is from source to sink. Okay, and what how we can define this hypothesis here? What is mass flow hypothesis or pressure flow hypothesis? It means in plants the most accepted mechanism used for the translocation of sugars from source to sink is called as the pressure flow hypothesis, right? Okay, I told you in the previous class regarding the source and sink. Okay, what is source and what is sink, right? And remember this process, okay, or this hypothesis was proposed by a scientist called as ernest munch and it was elaborated by one more scientist called as Grabs, right? Okay, and here, before going to understand the um, mechanism, and let us understand the structure of xylem and phloem. Okay, and here uh, the xylem and phloem. Okay, and in xylem what they have highlighted here, transportation of water. Okay, or the transpiration of water. It means in xylem always water will move, right? Okay, and another side what is there, phloem is there. Okay, next to the xylem phloem will be there. And what are the different components of the phloem? Sieve tubes, companion cells, then phloem parenchyma. Okay, this already we have studied in anatomy part. Okay, sieve tubes are the main food conducting elements. Okay, for that what they have mentioned here, translocation of sucrose. Okay, and here in xylem it should be transportation of water, and here companion cells are there, and here what is labeled source. Okay, source means what here, the leaf cell where the food is manufactured, it is called as the source or considered as the source, right? And sink, root cell is it has taken an example of the sink, right, where the food is utilized or the stored here, right? Okay, and remember, and what this hypothesis explains here, it is the hypothesis that explains mechanism of translocation of sugar. Okay, it is called as phloem transport, right? And remember where the sugar is produced here, say for example glucose. Okay, the glucose which is the end product of the photosynthesis. Okay, it is prepared at the source. Okay, say for example leaf cells, right? And is converted into sucrose. Okay, it means whatever the glucose is produced, it will be converted into sucrose. Okay, sucrose is a disaccharide, right? Okay, then um, again sucrose. Okay, sucrose is moved into the companion cells. After conversion, the sucrose itself, okay, it will be moving into the companion cells. Okay, already you have studied about the companion cells. Next to the sieve tube, a specialized parenchyma cells will be present. They are called as the companion cells, right? Companion cells, right? And here in the beginning what will happen here, the sucrose will move into the companion cells and then into the living phloem sieve tube cells. Okay, and then into the living phloem sieve tube cells by the active transport method. Okay, active transport method. And for this process, this loading of sugars or sucrose into the sieve tubes, this process is called as the loading. Okay, loading, or we also call it as the wean loading, right? And here, due to the addition of the sucrose into the sieve tubes, what will happen there? The solution will become hypertonic here. It produces a hypertonic condition in the phloem. Why? Because the sugars or the sucrose, it is just like a solute only. It will be added into the phloem tissue. Okay, because of this one, what will happen here? Water potential decreases. Okay, the water potential in the phloem decreases because of the addition of the sucrose. Okay, then if water potential increases, definitely there should be an increase in the solute potential, right? Solute potential value will be increased, whereas the water potential value will be decreased, right? Okay, and one more thing is sieve tube cells. Okay, and in case of plants, we study that the sieve tube cells are the main water conducting elements. Okay, how they occur in the plants? Okay, they are nothing but elongated tube like cells. Okay, elongated tube like cells. And regarding their structure and all, we have studied in the plant anatomy part, right? Sieve tube cells, they will form long columns with holes in sieve plates, right? And here, holes in sieve plates means they are having a transverse walls. Okay, transverse plates called as the sieve plates. And in that sieve plates, what will be there? Small holes will be there. And already we have studied about these holes. These holes are called as what here? They are called as the sieve pores. Okay, sieve pores, pores, right? Sieve tube cells form long columns with holes in sieve plates, right? And here, another important thing is about the cytoplasmic strands, presence of cytoplasmic strands. And remember, in a sieve tube cell, the cytoplasmic strands will be there. Okay, cytoplasmic strands means what here? They are nothing but the proteinaceous strands or thread-like structures. Okay, which extend from one sieve tube cell to the another sieve tube cell through the sieve pores or the holes, right? Okay, cytoplasmic strands, or they are also called as the um, cytoplasmic strands. And what is the chemical nature of these cytoplasmic strands? They are nothing but the proteinaceous threads. Okay, and remember, they are also called as P protein. P stands for what here? Phloem. Okay, protein, phloem protein. And what is the importance of this one? I told you, they extend from one sieve tube cell to the another sieve tube cell. What is the importance of these strands here? They are involved in the effective translocation of the food material. It means what here? The food translocation will be little bit become speedier, right? Okay, they are involved in the effective translocation of the food material, right? Okay, what they have mentioned here, cytoplasmic strands pass through these holes forming continuous filaments, right? And remember, they are proteinaceous in nature only, right? Okay, where they are found? They are mainly found in the sieve tube cells only. Okay, and next one is um, after the addition of the sucrose into the phloem or into the sieve tube, in the at the adjacent side, what will be there? Xylem will be there. Okay, in xylem always water content will be there, right? Water in the adjacent xylem moves into the phloem by osmosis process. Okay, and here in the given diagram you can understand, whatever the water content is there in the xylem, that water, it may move into the phloem, right? Water in the xylem, in the adjacent xylem, moves into the phloem by osmosis. Okay, because of the entry of water into the sieve tube or into the phloem, uh, osmotic pressure. Okay, osmotic pressure, or it is also considered as the hydrostatic pressure. Okay, hydrostatic pressure will build up in the phloem. Okay, and because of the development of pressure. Okay, and remember, because of the pressure difference in the plant, the food will move from one part to the another part. Okay, and here in the upper region, if the pressure difference is more, then it will move from uh, that side to the lower part of the plant where the osmotic pressure is less. Okay, and remember, because of the pressure difference, the food will move here, right? As osmotic pressure or hydrostatic pressure builds up, the phloem sap moves to areas of lower osmotic pressure. Okay, areas of lower osmotic pressure means what here? It will move into the sink. Okay, and here what we considered here, sink means, say for example, root cell, right? The food will move to sink in this direction, right? Okay, and again, mm, the sucrose. Okay, the sucrose from the phloem sap actively moves into the cells. Okay, and here the sucrose from the phloem sap actively moves into the cells. It means what here? In the sink region. Okay, in the sink region, what will happen here? The sucrose from phloem sap, it will actively moves into the cells. Okay, it means the process will take place by the utilization of ATP here. Okay, regarding the active transport, already you have studied. Okay, and here in the sink part, the cells, okay, the cells, what they will do here, they will convert the sugar into energy. Okay, there are different possibilities here, right? Okay, the cells may convert the sugar into energy or starch or cellulose. Okay, cellulose, they are nothing but the complex carbohydrates only. Okay, the cells convert sugar into energy, starch or cellulose, right? Okay, then the other important point. Okay, as sugars are removed, it means where they are going to remove here? In the sink part only. As sugars are removed, osmotic pressure decreases. Okay, osmotic pressure will decrease. It means water potential increases and water moves out of the phloem. Water moves out of the phloem, right? Okay, then uh, this is about the uh, flow pressure flow hypothesis, right? And here in the given diagram, what you can understand here, sugars at one side in the given diagram, what they have mentioned, sugars enter sieve tubes, water follows by osmosis, is equal to what here? High turgor pressure. Okay, and the sugars leave sieve tube for metabolism and storage, water follows by osmosis, right? And again, sugar solution flows to regions of low turgor pressure, right? Then sugars leave sieve tubes, water follows by osmosis, right? Okay, this diagrammatic representation explains about the mechanism of the translocation, right? Okay, and the next concept. Okay, and here uh, we are going to perform one experiment. What is that one? Demonstration. Okay, demonstration of translocation of food by phloem by girdling experiment. Okay, we are going to demonstrate the translocation of food by phloem tissue by the girdling experiment. Okay, or we can tell like this: identification of the tissue, identification of the tissue that transports food. Okay, and it is nothing but the girdling, right? And remember, this experiment, okay, this experiment was conducted by Malpighi. Okay, this experiment was conducted by Malpighi, Malpighi. Okay, Malpighi, to demonstrate the pathway of translocation of organic nutrients. Okay, and also to identify the tissue involved in it. Tissue involved in it. Okay, and let us understand the different steps involved in this experiment, right? And here, um, what we are going to remove here? Okay, girdling. Okay, try to understand the meaning of girdling here. Okay, it means what here? The removal of a ring of bark from a tree trunk is called as girdling. Remember, the removal of a ring of bark including phloem layer from a tree trunk is called as girdling, right? And here what we are going to do here, on the trunk of a tree, on the trunk of a tree, a ring of bark, a ring of bark up to a depth of the phloem layer, up to the up to a depth of the phloem layer is carefully removed. Okay, and remember, this narrow ring of bark, this narrow ring of bark consists of the tissues like phloem, cortex and the cork, right? This narrow ring of bark consists of phloem, cortex and the cork, right? And after few weeks, after few weeks, the portion of the bark, the portion of the bark above the stem, okay, the portion of the bark above the ring on the stem becomes swollen. Okay, it will be become swollen, and this is due to the absence of downward movement of food. Okay, downward movement of the food, right? Okay, then this shows that phloem is the tissue responsible for translocation of food, and that transport takes place in one direction, one direction, that is towards the roots, right? And here, in the given diagram you can easily understand here. Okay, what in first diagram, the ring of bark is removed. Okay, and removed means what here? What tissues are removed here? Cork, phloem, cortex as well as the cork, right? Okay, and here when we remove this one, the leaves do not wilt. Okay, the leaves, they do not show any wilting, but growth below the ring was reduced. Growth below the ring was reduced, right? And we can study that the swelling occurs here. Okay, the swelling, in which part it occurs? Okay, the swelling of bark above the ring. Okay, it occurs. Okay, and why the swelling occurs here? It is important here because it is due to the accumulation of nutrients. Okay, whatever the nutrients uh, they are moving from top part to the lower part, okay, or from upper part to the lower part, all those nutrients accumulate in that region as the translocation of sugars and other materials down the plant was stopped. Okay, whereas the upward movement of water was not affected, right? Upward movement of water was not affected, right? And here in the second diagram you can observe the swollen tissue, right? Okay, in the first diagram a ring of bark is removed and we are going to keep it for 10 to 15 days. Okay, or 2 weeks. After that, what we can observe here, the swelling of the tissue above the ringed region. Okay, ringing region. Okay, swollen tissue, and even there is a possibility of development of adventitious roots from this swollen region. Okay, and finally what it says here, what the conclusion we can tell here. Okay, and the food flows in one direction, that is from upward to the downward direction, right? And we can prove that phloem is responsible for the translocation of food material, right? And remember, this experiment is called as girdling experiment. Okay, girdling experiment. Okay, what I told you, girdling means what here? The removal of a ring of bark, okay, including phloem layer from a tree trunk is called as girdling. Okay, and how the girdling is done here? With the help of the knife. Okay, you can remove the tissue, right? Okay, and this is about the last part, right? Okay, with this the transport in plants chapter is completed, and from next YouTube class onwards I am going to discuss the multiple choice questions on this chapter. Okay, thank you.